Good morning. I offer these opening words provided by Rev Donna. To everyone who conquers, for us as followers of Spirit, it is not an outer war at all, but an inner war that requires our surrender for us to be in the world, but not of the world. And yet, how many times have we not surrendered to that sweet Spirit that calls us in every moment? But when we do surrender to that Spirit and go within, then and only then do we conquer. What a paradox. Only in surrender is there victory. Not an outer surrender or an outer victory, but an inner surrender and an inner victory of letting go and letting the divine essence of who you are flourish within you and through you. Welcome to the Florence Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. My name is Sally Watson. It is my pleasure to be your service leader today. We're going to open our Sunday service like we do every Sunday morning by singing Spirit of Life, performed by Jeff Lovejoy. And if those who are here today wish to come forward at a safe distance and sing with me, you're more than welcome. Right? Spirit of Life. The e-blast. I'm reminding you of Dean Schrock's Connecting with Soul, his workshop meditation, first Tuesday of every month at 5:15. So the next one is coming up on, well, February 2nd, 5:15. You're all welcome to join as Dean gently guides us into our own connection with our own soul. Our happy hour gathering this afternoon at 5 p.m. Be there. We're going to have some good times. We hope Rev Donna will join us as well. She's such a delight. And we hope you enjoyed the midweek newsletter that contained the songs of a few musicians who passed through town. And Ruth Baumrocker put them in touch with KXER or vice versa. They came to our fellowship last week. They made a taping, but we also included a few of their musical pieces in that midweek blast. So enjoy them, okay? And if they happen to publish what they produced here, we will make sure you get to see that as well later. And Xana's here today, and she's offering some numerology readings. I need to call you and set my appointment. So if you want to have a numerology reading, make sure you call Xana, okay? It should be very interesting. And Ray, should we make any announcements on the, we held a member friends meeting last week. We talked about the renovation of our space. We all agreed. We're going forward, folks. I'm looking at Ray. We're going forward. We're going to sign a new lease with the landlord, and we're taking over the beauty shop. We're going to knock down some walls, and we're going to make this our home for the next 5+ years. So thank you. And thank you to Ray and Judy for all they've done to help us in our exploration of a new home on Kingwood. We may revisit it someday, but for now our future is right here, Casita Beach Road and Highway 101, where most everybody knows where we are to begin with. So again, thank you. And next week we're delighted to have Catherine Hemmons will be giving us a program. I have no idea what the title is, or the subject, or the content. Maybe she'll let us know before then, or maybe she'll tell us about it today. I don't know. But are there any other announcements from anybody else? Tuvia, did you have an announcement? Come forward. There's a microphone over here and a cleansing cloth.
I can turn it on, okay.
Push up.
Is it on?
Mm-hmm.
The light has
Yes.
to be red.
Go.
Go, okay.
Up to your mouth.
Well, it's another Jewish holiday.
No, it's
No.
not on.
No.
Push the button all the way to the top.
There you go. It's on. Talk to it.
Okay,
There you go.
oh, we're on.
Louder.
It's another Jewish holiday.
Oy vey!
It's Rosh Hashanah Le'ilanot. It's the new year of the trees. Or, as you know, it's Tu B'Shvat. And we all love trees in Israel. It is springtime and they're planting. One of the few places on earth where deserts have been turned into forests. It is also a time of thinking about the environment, or tikkun olam. And I'd like to encourage everybody at this point to get involved with the Restore over at Habitat for Humanity. Bring in things you don't need, or purchase things that you can use, or volunteer to work there and make friends with a lot of really, really great people. By using the Restore as our resource, we are helping the environment, which is something we all love almost as much as we love trees. Thank you.
Thank you, Tuvia. Thank you. Make sure you turn that off. Thank you. So I invite Catherine. Are any other announcements? We're going to light our chalice this morning, and you can light your candle at home. These words come from Laura Wallace, and they're titled Determined Seed. I selected this, I just felt like this country has been determined to be where we are right now, and we're here. So I like this. As frozen earth holds the determined seed, this sacred space holds our weariness, our worry, our laughter, and our celebration. Let us bring seed and soul into the light of thought, the warmth of community, and the hope of love. Let us see together, hear together, love together. Let us worship together. Blessed be. So Catherine's going to come forward. She's got some joys and concerns to share, and I have one too.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I have a quote from Abraham Maslow, one of my teachers in print anyway. He was gone before I got to meet him. The great lesson from the true mystics is that the sacred is in the ordinary, that it is to be found in one's daily life, in one's neighbors, friends, and family, in one's backyard. And that's what Joys and Concerns is, really. It's about us. It's about us staying connected in the oneness that motivates every one of us, that lives through us. And it's about knowing that love that we have, between each other, with each other, and not forgetting it. Even though this room could look empty right now, it's not. We are holding each other in our hearts and minds perfectly. So, Sally, you're going to drop a shell. I have some joys here first. Mark Levy's mother, she was diagnosed with COVID in Israel, and she is actually out of the hospital, and she's like 93 or something like that, or 92, and boy, we are grateful, and we're grateful for anyone's prayers that came from that. It's joyous that Xana is sitting here with us.
Yes.
I really enjoy that people come venture out and wear their masks and sit around, and it just makes it more fun. And you have a joy, correct?
I have a great joy I would like to share. So My spouse, Jennifer, just finished having some back surgery on Monday, and they called me and said on Wednesday, come get her. And I thought, oh my, this is going to be fun. And so we've spent the last couple of days getting to get into a new routine, back brace, all the good stuff that comes with it, and she is healing beautifully. And I know it's because of the love and prayers that have come from our FOOF friends, as well as her many friends, circles of friends, artists from all around. So thank you, family and friends, for your thoughts and prayers for Jennifer. She is healing beautifully.
That is so
Big
great. That is so great. I have a concern. My very, very good friend of over 30 years yesterday poured a pot accidentally, of course, of boiling water on her legs. She has second-degree burns. She can't walk. Please, prayers, visualizations of beautiful olive pink skin that heals onto her legs. She is such a delight to the world, this woman, Denise Muscarella. She is a delight to this world, and that she may heal quicker than she thought, just like Jennifer did.
Yeah.
Quicker than she thought, and with ease. Thank you. And one more, Sally. For all that is not said, or all that we may even know, we don't even know. Oh, Xana, come right up. Interruption. I love this.
That's okay, I can handle it.
Yep.
Speaking of, I have two joys actually. Speaking of folks who have come through difficult time, I think I told you a month or so ago, my brother, who was already in the hospital, contracted COVID while in the hospital. And he's still in the hospital. He has pretty advanced cancer, but he came through the COVID. And he tested negative for COVID. Now this is a guy who doesn't have just 9 lives. He must have about 19 lives. And he told me in the middle of this that, over the phone, that this is the worst thing I've ever had in my life. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. So please take it seriously. And it's a mystery to me, as probably it is to a lot of people, why some people survive who maybe seem like they wouldn't, and some don't, who you just don't understand. But he's a survivor, and I love him. My other joy is to celebrate our new government, our new direction, our new president, our first female vice president. I was stuck to the TV all day, which I don't normally do, but I just had to watch the whole thing and get emotional and be happy, so I'm pretty excited about that.
You want to drop a couple of shells for yourself?
Sure.
Thank you, Xana.
Thank you.
And one more shell. For all that is said, not said, or even known. You know, sometimes the information trickles back to one of us a little bit later. But we love you, and you know, just in general, we just think about you. We hold you in our hearts and our minds, and we're waiting for this place to be reopened again.
Yes.
And yes, just know that we feel that way. One more quote from my favorite metaphysician, Ernest Holmes. Life is ever giving of itself. We must receive, utilize, and extend that gift of life every day. So you asked me to say a little bit about what I'm going to speak about next week.
Okay, why not?
I will do it very quickly. So the thing is, you know, of course, the subject was imagination. So I thought, what am I going to say about that? And imagination is so personal, and it's kind of the lens we look through, you know, at life. And every one of us looks through a different lens. It's very personal. So I'm going to talk about that, like my personal lens, how I look at life. Hope it's interesting.
It will be. So that sounds wonderful. So that's our theme for this particular month, has been imagination and, you know, what do you do with that? So thank you, Catherine. I look forward to hearing that. You know, Jeff Lovejoy has given us countless pre-recorded music pieces. And I found this one this morning. I thought it would be very appropriate for us. So I'm going to invite you to, at home, sit and relax, close your eyes, turn up the volume, go get a cup of coffee, do what you need to do. But enjoy this musical interlude by Jeff Lovejoy. It's titled Blessings of Earth and Sky. Thank you, Jeff. Always appreciate your music. Today's message is titled The White Stone Ceremony with Rev Donna Smith. She's no stranger to our pulpit, and we're pleased she's returned to share a ceremony that reminds us of our power and the unlimited possibilities that the universe has for all of us. All we have to do is reach out and accept those possibilities. They are all free. This ceremony will open the door for you to realize your deepest dreams and passions. She also will encourage you to remember what you want to release. Now, in her beginning, she will talk about the burning bowl ceremony that she usually does. But we had our own burning bowl ceremony a few weeks ago with Catherine Hemmons, where we put on pieces of paper and released into the universe those things that no longer served us. So Donna will remind you to be thinking about something that maybe you put on your own piece of paper or can think about in this very moment as she starts to talk. And you may remember a couple of years ago, Reverend Marcia did this same service and gave us each our own stone that came from Israel. I have mine here, and I know Jennifer has hers at home, and I ask that you go find that now before we begin. And let's enjoy Reverend Donna Smith's message.
Good morning, my dear Foo friends, as we meet in this first month of a brand new year. I think the majority of people in the world are very much ready for a new year of repair, rebirth, and rejuvenation. I normally present the White Stone ceremony after the Burning Bowl ceremony. And in the Burning Bowl ceremony, we let go of things that we know in our hearts do not serve us any longer. We actually write on paper the things that we would like to release, and then we burn them to signify that they are gone and no longer in our possession, in mind or body. By doing this, we make room to accept what we do want for us in this new year through the White Stone ceremony. So I would like to invite you now to take a moment and identify something that you would like to release. Let's just think of one thing this morning. And if you have paper and pen handy, write them down or write it down when you realize what it is. If not, you can write it down later. I encourage you to eventually burn the papers as a symbol that you truly have let them go. So what do you want to release? Do you want to release something that maybe made you feel unworthy? Have you been feeling guilt or shame that you'd like to release? How about anger or judgments, unforgiveness, stubbornness, unhealthy habits? I think that most of us will have a lot that we can release because it is an ongoing thing. So let's take a few moments in the silence, and I want you to ask your heart to guide you to identify what is the most important thing right in this moment for you to release. So let's just take a few moments now to do that. It is okay to let it go. It is okay to accept the freeing feeling of letting it go. So as you bring your attention back, know that you have now made space for accepting the new when we do the White Stone ceremony. So let us welcome with open arms this new year, 2021. I invite you to take the time to reflect upon and claim your gifts from 2020. Perhaps your heart opened wider, your generosity grew, or your compassion and understanding blossomed. Then I encourage you to open the door of possibility before you and step fully through that doorway into 2021. Now this morning we will be participating in the White Stone ceremony. And I love this ceremony as it is a ceremony that reminds us of our power and the unlimited possibilities that the universe has for us. All we have to do is reach out and accept these possibilities, and they are all free. Now I wish I could give you a white stone from Hebron, Israel. Perhaps in the future that will happen. For this morning, I hope you have all had a chance to get a white stone, either from your own garden, the riverbank, or from a craft store. If you do not have a white stone yet, that's okay. Our imaginations are very powerful. So when we do this white stone ceremony this morning, just imagine that you are holding a white stone. Write down the messages that you receive during the meditation on a piece of paper. And then later, when you have found your stone, you can put your message on your stone. It will be just as powerful. So why do we use white stones, and what is the significance of these stones from Israel? The white stones from Israel have ancient energy within them. They are white-colored dolomite limestone. Hebron is where the patriarchs, Abraham, Jacob, and Isaac, and the matriarchs, Sarah, Rebekah, and Leah, lived and are buried. Hebron is one of the oldest communities in the area, having been continually inhabited. And it is where King David was anointed king of Israel. But most importantly, in biblical times, a white stone was given to prisoners upon their release as a symbol of their freedom. That is the purpose of the White Stone ceremony, to claim your freedom to be who and what you truly are, and to freely create your life experiences. Before our ceremony, I want to talk to you about just how powerful you are. Most people do not think about themselves as being powerful. And I'm not talking about power over something or someone. I am talking about your innate power as a divine being. Expressing your power requires intention. Greg Braden and Lynn McTaggart have done extensive research into the power of focused intention. I refer you specifically to Greg Braden's book, The Isaiah Effect, and to Lynn McTaggart's books, The Intention Experiment and The Power of Eight. In The Isaiah Effect, Greg Braden talks about the many efforts of groups to bring peace to many parts of the world through prayer, meditation, and intention. Based on the oneness of life, what the scientists call the field, Greg writes, the beauty of the field effect is that when stress is relieved within a group, the effects are registered beyond the immediate group into an even larger area. So what they found through these many successful experiments, to reduce conflict in the world was that a group in number that equals the square root of 1% of the population holding a focused intention created a measurable effect on the population, and then that effect moved out beyond the population itself. Now this is really big, so let's do the math. The United Nations estimated the world population in December 2020 at 7.8 billion. The square root of 1% of 7.8 billion is 8,832 people. In our world of technology today, it is very possible to get 8,832 people together at one time to hold an intention. You may have even participated in some of the world peace meditations that have been held in the year 2020 alone. I received an email that said that during the peace meditation and the Great Conjunction and Great Convergence on December 21st, 2020, that the Earth's and humanity's consciousness levels rose significantly. I could not find substantiation for this information. However, based on what Braden and McTaggart's work shows, this is very possible. If in the entire world 8,832 people can make a difference, then millions with focused intention on peace at the same time must have had a huge effect. So let's break it down just a little bit further. Oregon has 4.218 million people. The square root of 1% of that is 205 people. Florence has 9,383 people, and the square root of 1% of that is 9.6, or 10, because I don't know what a person of 9.6 mass looks like even. So, as an example, if 10 people got together in focused intention to reduce crime in the city of Florence proper by 50%, then the crime rate would go down by 50% during the period of intention, and then move beyond the city proper to outlying areas and reduce crime rates in those outlying areas during the same period. And here is what is so exciting to me. The square root of 1 is 1. The square root of 1% of 1 is 0.01. And since we are talking about whole people, we really have to round that up to one person, as we really, again, can't have a fraction of a person. But what this means, and this is very important, what this means is that you are the one who can create a measurable effect in you. A Course in Miracles says, It only takes a tiny bit of willingness to change a thought and make a change in you. Could that tiny bit of willingness be the 0.01? That is the square root of 1% of 1. I don't know if we can relate the two. However, it sounds good to me. But here is what is important. You don't need anyone else or anything outside of you to make a desired change in you, in your consciousness, and in your life. You already have within you all of the power and all of the resources you will ever need. And when you understand this, you have taken your power back. Now, these numbers we've discussed above are based on mathematics and logic. Here's the most exciting part of your power. As you continue to use your focused intention with passion and feeling and knowing, you will get better and better and faster at making changes within you and creating what you want. You will be unstoppable. Things will come into your life that are the answers to whatever it is you're asking or thinking about so fast that it will astound you. And this is not Pollyanna thinking. It is the universe working with you to create a passionate life, and it is very exciting. Now, people around you are going to see this happening in your life, and they are going to say, I want that. This is the reflection of the intention moving beyond the population, which is you now, and affecting those around you just by focusing on yourself. Remember that famous line in the restaurant in the movie when Harry met Sally and the lady at the other table said, I want what she's having? Well, the people around you are going to ask you, how do you always get what you want? What is your secret? And you know what you're going to say? I have this little white stone. But it doesn't stop there. As you become adept at creating your life from your own power, your consciousness level naturally rises. When your consciousness level rises, it does so logarithmically. Now, here is where I want to talk about David Hawkins' book, Power versus Force. The important thing about this book, beyond its messages, is the fact that every sentence in that book was tested for truth using kinesiology, and that's muscle testing. I highly recommend you read this book. The messages in this book support the results of the experiments that Braden and McTaggart tell us about in their books. When you pray, meditate, and hold focused intentions, you are in a higher state of consciousness, and these prayers, meditations, and intentions, whether being held by an individual or a group, affect a much greater number than the number of people who are holding those prayers and intentions. And this, of course, supports the oneness of life that makes all of this possible. In my Power of 8 group, we know that when we hold intentions for others' health and well-being, that we are also getting the effects of healing and well-being. David Hawkins wrote this book in 1995. The map of consciousness, which is presented on a logarithmic scale, goes from 20 to 1,000. And it shows that consciousness levels below 200 are destructive and not life-enhancing. For instance, shame and guilt, anger, etc. When consciousness levels move above 200, they move into life-enhancing attributes. Love is 500. Enlightenment and pure consciousness are 700 to 1,000. We can relate Hawkins' work to the work of Braden and McTaggart. Hawkins writes, although only 15% of the world's population is above the critical consciousness level of 200, the collective power of that 15% has the weight to counterbalance the negativity of the remaining 85% of the world's people. Because the scale of power advances logarithmically, a single avatar at a consciousness level of 1,000 can, in fact, totally counterbalance the collective negativity of all mankind. Were it not for these counterbalances, mankind would self-destruct out of the sheer mass of its unopposed negativity. The difference in power between a loving thought and a fearful thought is so enormous as to be beyond the capacity of the human imagination to easily comprehend. We can see from the analysis above, however, that even a few loving thoughts during the course of the day more than counterbalance all of our negative thoughts. So it has been said that 70% of our daily thoughts are negative. So this is a motivation, I think, to purposely think some loving thoughts at the end of every day, actually during the whole day, but especially before you go to bed. So on his scale, one individual at 700, which is enlightenment, counterbalances 70 million individuals below level 200. One individual at 600, which is peace, counterbalances 10 million. One individual at 500, which is love, counterbalances 750,000. At the writing of the book, Hawkins said that there were 12 persons on the planet who calibrate at 700, and that 12 individuals at 700 is equal to one avatar at 1,000, which counterbalances the negativity of humanity. So these 12 individuals we can be very, very grateful for. And to put this in perspective, avatars at 1,000 are Jesus, the Buddha, and others that we have known throughout our history. December 21st was the great conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter. The great conjunction, which is switching to air signs, is a key point on this transition into the age of Aquarius, and is destined to bring many themes into our lives, such as a shift into more community-based living. Rather than looking to big governments or big businesses for support, we instead turn to smaller community-run organizations and smaller businesses. There's going to be more focus on the idea that we all thrive when the collective thrives, rather than focus on individuals trying to compete with one another to get to the top. It will allow us to see that we truly are all connected. It will help us start to open our minds to higher levels of consciousness that understand that there is no separation between us. So what we know is that we are made of quantum energy. For 70 years, scientists have been telling us that we are little particles of quantum energy, and those little quantum particles can do miraculous things. So in this field of quantum energy, all possibility already exists. This alludes to the fact that every possible outcome of our lives is already stored in the field of energy all around us, and that we, usually unknowingly, choose the possibility just by where we focus our energy and our intention. And this opens a whole new way of thinking. Greg Braden says, we imagine with our mind, and that's how we lock that possibility into place. With our heart, we give that possibility life. The thought happens in the upper chakras, and emotion happens in the creative center. They say our emotions are only two, love and fear. When we think a thought in our mind, we give the thought life through these two emotions, love or fear. When we place love or fear into that thought, we create a feeling, the union between emotion and thought. And feeling takes place in the heart. Our beliefs, derived from our feelings, then translates the quantum possibilities that we imagine and focus on into the physical reality of our world. Belief is what translates those possibilities into the atoms of our world. So choosing to give our thoughts life through the emotion of love or fear is very important in how we draw possibilities into our lives. And this is how powerful you can be when you open up to your innate power. Now, the heart's electromagnetic field is 100 times stronger than the brain. And that is why we go to our heart for our wisdom. So if our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs select one of the endless outcomes in the field, it is beneficial to us and everyone around us to focus on what we want and what makes us feel good. And this is why we use the heart-brain coherence to enter into our wisdom center of the heart. And we focus on what we want, not what we don't want. I shared with you last time when we were together how to bring your heart and brain into coherence. So given all of this wonderful information on how we have the power to change our lives and thrive, let's begin to focus on what it is we desire right now at this time through this white stone ceremony. If you will, I invite you to envision all around you those infinite possibilities, and all you have to do is reach out and bring them to you. Now in a moment we'll go into meditation. You may find that your message during the ceremony for this new year is for maybe being more loving, more compassionate, accessing your wisdom. Maybe you want to go back to school. Maybe you want to write a book. In other words, it's endless. It can be anything. You may even get a message to change your name. And this is a sign of increased consciousness. In the Bible, Abram's name was changed to Abraham, and Sarai's name was changed to Sarah. So be very open to what your heart is going to communicate to you. And remember that your heart knows everything about you and knows what you truly need in every moment. So take your white stone in your hand, or in your hand in your imagination, if you don't have one right now, and let us bless each stone as a symbol of our intention to take back our power and to be free to create the life that we desire. Let this stone be a symbol of our oneness with each other, and let it represent the intention to express our freedom out to all beings as we lift our consciousness to life-enhancing levels of love, peace, and joy. And now let us go into this meditation. So sit back and relax. Close your eyes and take some very deep breaths. Take that journey from your head to your heart and bring your heart and brain into coherence by focusing on your individual divinity. You are a divine being walking on this planet. You are good, you are holy, and you are beautiful. We are all enlightened beings, and this journey here is a journey of remembering this truth. Feel this within your heart and be willing to love yourself deeply. Surrender to your higher self, where you are given peace and an entirely new energy and nourishment. So as you hold your white stone in your hand, feel its energy and fill your white stone with your loving energy. Each of us comes from bondage of some kind. And this white stone is to symbolize your freedom from all bondages. Today, right now. This white stone represents a clean slate. You are moving forward, leaving all that does not serve you behind for transmutation. So as you relax and breathe, allow your deepest desires to come forth. Let them flow into your heart and mind from the depths of your soul. Allow the divine to move through you to express a very powerful symbol of who you have become, who you are becoming, or who you would like to become. Desire is innocent. Allow it to flow. What is your desire? We will now go into the silence for a few moments. When you know, write it on your white stone or your piece of paper. I invite you to bring your attention back to your surroundings. With your stone and your new desires, your new name or intentions, you free yourself to live more freely and fully on a path to greater insights and awareness to who you are. If this was not enough time to bring forth your desire, I invite you to go into meditation again at home. If you ask, you shall receive. And sometimes it takes a little longer to really go deep within to your divine guidance. You can also have as many white stones as you want. I have 4 white stones from Israel that I have created for Foof, and each one of you individually for 2021. They are filled with my loving intentions for you, and I will send them to you if you so desire. So, the first one, I have put Foof here and 2021 on each one. This one is love and compassion. This one is health and wholeness. This one is prosperity and success. And this one is peace and joy. So I envision each and every one of us using our freedom to fulfill all of our desires in this new year, and actually forevermore. So, and remember that the universe, the planets, the angelic realm, all the light beings of the divine are here to help us. All you have to do is ask, because they do not interfere with your free will unless you ask them to. So Happy New Year, everyone, and may your experiences in this new year be blessings beyond your belief. Namaste.
Thank you, Reverend Donna. So appreciate your message. I've got my white stone right here, which by then the other side is a picture of a seal. So I might have gotten this up at Seal Rock or the Sea Lion Caves. But anyway, it's my own personal white stone, and I appreciate the thought that you put into this service today. Our offering this month, January and February, our community partner is Sayusla Outreach Services. And their mission, where do I have their mission, is to provide compassionate, respectful, and confidential support to people in need, especially people right now. People are hurting. People don't feel safe. But they can go to SOS, they can get the supplies, they can get the things they need to have more of a safe environment. And we appreciate our friends at SOS. Bob Teeter, he's the executive director. My Jennifer serves on the board. So the board, with Bob and all the staff, they do a wonderful job for our community. So thank you to SOS. I ask that you consider your contribution to SOS, as well as your support of this particular fellowship as we go forward in our new home. With this space and the next space, we're going to have plenty of room to come back together as soon as we can to a beautiful space supported by your financial contributions. So thank you for that. You can mail us a contribution to P.O. Box 2502, Florence 97439. And we appreciate people who live outside the area who hear this recording and are sending us checks. Thank you for that very much. Or you can go to our website and click on the donate button, and you can easily make a payment through the PayPal system using your own credit card. So again, thank you. So as we move forward with our offertory here at FOOF and you at home, I ask that you repeat after me. Divine love through me.
Divine love through me.
Blesses and multiplies all that I am.
Blesses and multiplies all that I am.
All that I give.
All that I give.
And all that I receive.
And all that I receive.
I am prosperous now, blessed be.
I am prosperous now, blessed be.
Remember, that which you give, you get. So keep that in mind. So I invite you at home to extinguish your candle, and I invite Catherine to come back up here and extinguish the flame in ours. These words come from Kevin Jago, titled, Hope Continues. When the candle dims, the wax almost spent, the light turns amber like a sunset. Still, it provides light. Still, it provides heat. Don't get too close. Still, it can kindle new flame and pass its glow on, and contribute to new illumination. When sunsets turn to new days, when seasons transform all, when the candle dims, all is not lost. Hope continues, uncertain and true like candlelight, ready to spark again. All is not lost. Rev Donna asked that I share with you the following closing words. As you hold your white stone in your hand, let it represent all that is new and good and holy and beautiful that is in your heart. Let this little white stone be your reminder of all that you desire. Let it represent your willingness to live your life to the fullest in great peace and happiness as the Great Spirit desires for you. We're going to close now with our peace song. Tuvi is going to come forward. He's got his guitar in hand. We're going to sing the peace song, and everyone who is here is welcome to come forward again. Tuvia, the peace song. Are you ready?
We're all smiling.
Well, let's go.
Family, all are we.
p.m. Zoom call happy hour.